I'm out in the water, come jump right in, 'cause we going farther than we ever been. I'm out in the water, come jump right in, we going farther than we ever been. Alright, what's up? Oh, let's get it.
It's good there.
There we go. Welcome back. Ocean Waves, episode 53. 53. Officially year 2 of the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
How was
Sick.
52?
It was cool.
Was it just you?
Yeah, it was just me. I mean, I did 2 back-to-back. So the second day I was like reaching for.
So 52.
It's still good. We actually got a comment on it.
I saw some. I don't know if you addressed that super long comment.
Yeah, I did.
You addressed it?
Yeah, but I feel like I had talked a lot about it the day before. So I think I did a good job at addressing it.
It was a long comment. I was like, we should just get this guy on the
on the
have
pod.
him phone in for the podcast.
Yeah. We got from last one at Rose_Courts_Love and Light. Love the pod. Bless up from the UK.
Ooh.
So shout out to you.
Dope. Love that.
And so the pod was good, I guess. 52 was cool. But I was definitely reaching on just like stuff because I had talked like.
I mean, talking to yourself is.
Yeah, and then I had from like a one day, like a lot can happen in a day, but you know.
Yeah.
53 feels good. 2 years. Didn't get it out on Wednesday though, but last night I figured I was definitely tired just from the work week.
It's good to have that deadline, but you just gotta know you're probably gonna fail.
Yeah.
A lot.
Most of it I was just like, I realized because it was like the last Tuesday I did a pod, then I edited it. Then Wednesday I did a pod and edited it and did the music the whole day. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, usually like at work, they'll be like, you'll go to work and then it'll be like, it'll get busy, and then it'll slow down and you go, right? But for whatever reason, this week, it was like, get to work and it was like busy, end. So there was no like pauses, no like breaks or whatever. So then, and I worked extra day. So just my circadian rhythm, everything was off. And then Monday, it was like we had like the cookout and we had people over and whatever. So there was really no like rest. So then Tuesday, I was like, oh, I'm going to do it. And then I was like, I'm kind of tired. I feel like I'm forcing it. And I felt like if I waited, then I might not do it alone. So I was like, then we wait an extra day. But yeah, the goal definitely for anyone who's watched all of them and has heard me say Wednesday at noon, that's definitely the goal. I think that's a solid goal. Especially because I look around and it's like, well, Joe Rogan will put out like 2 or 3 a week, 3 or 4 a week.
Yeah.
Like Theo Von puts his out on Monday. You know, so like different people put different times of the week. So I was like, I feel like Wednesday noon. And then when he didn't put it out, because he actually put his last one out today. Like yesterday, he like made a comment like, pod out tomorrow. Thanks for all the support. So obviously people were like looking for it. So when it gets big enough, it's like it's probably good to have like that at least time where it's like at least one's coming out this day.
Yeah.
At this time. Or
I do still think that if you, I mean, obviously you've expressed how you feel about it, but if you embrace the willingness to have backstock, then you'd probably always have
I feel like
something.
once it's more, like I'm down to do that.
Because, I mean, some stuff is on time, but then it'd be
at
like...
some point I'll probably stop saying what number it is. But right now I just don't feel like that it's the time right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's like, I feel like it's still going to be progressive from here.
Yeah.
Until it's like people coming in and someone might come in and be like, oh, but I want you to wait to put it out for 2 weeks. I got this coming.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay. So once we get to that level where it's like other people have their opinion on when they want theirs to be out.
Yeah.
Then I feel like that's kind of, but for now it's like, it keeps me on track and honest, I think.
Yeah.
With how it goes or whatever, so.
That's cool.
Well, yeah, so shout out to the commenters. Shout out to you, Rose Quartz. Appreciate it.
Seems pretty decently consistent now with the comments. And Aaron Mace is the other one that I see a lot of comments from. So shout out to them for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, subscribe. I think it's like we're like 121 YouTube subscribers.
Nice.
So feels like it's going up. I had one of the regulars came in. I told him I did the pod. They're like, I'm gonna go watch it. I'm like, all right.
I wanted to watch it.
So So if you're watching this, shout out to you too. So I just went to get dinner, and I was at the bar or whatever. And when I got there, there's like this girl. She was definitely intoxicated, like older lady, like I don't know, 40s probably. And then, but she was with like whoever like her dude or whatever. And like when I first sat down, like there's like one dude at the end of the bar, one dude in the middle, and couple at like the end. So there's no like it was like checkmate. Like there's no so I'm in between no matter what. So I was like, all right. And usually like the second TV has like the baseball game on or whatever. So I was like, oh, let me just go sit down here. So I sit down there. When I sit down, like immediately I can just hear them. They're like arguing a little bit, and then whatever they're arguing about, and then I guess the intel of what I picked up from just listening was that they're on like this cruise, I guess, and then I guess on the cruise they had met. They were like playing blackjack with this other person or whatever, and then the cruise is over now. The other person now is texted this like the dude's girl. So he's like, she's like, oh, I have no idea, and then he's just like, kind of like, why is this dude texting you or whatever? So then they're like, then she turns to me, and I'm like, oh Lord. So I'm just sitting there on my phone like, whatever, and then she was like, she looks at me for a little bit, and she was like, she was like, hey, and I just didn't say anything. So I was like, I'm not trying to engage. Like, I don't know. I didn't really look at the dude. I was like, I'm not trying to engage in any of this. Like, I'm just trying to eat and dip. And then, so then, I didn't say anything. So then she like, leans in. She's like, should I say hi again? And I was like, hey. I like, turn around. I was like, what's up? And she was like, are you famous or something? And I was like, not yet. And then she's like, not yet. She was like, seemed a little suspicious coming. Like, my hair is, I guess, like, on my side of my face, like hiding your face or whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's like, are you not famous or whatever? And I was like, not yet. And then she like looked at me, she was like, Trillith? And I was like, no, like, I was like, I'm telling you the truth, like, I'm not famous yet, but like, whatever. So then she was like, she's named this other place. Let me see, I put it down. She's like, Chattahoochee Hills. And I guess like there's this waterfall there or something. It's like 25 minutes away from here. And I was like, should I go there? And she was just like, Chattahoochee Hills, like, there's a river. She's like, don't take she was like, go and pay the $2 for the walk, but don't take the hike. And I was like, all right. So I wrote it down in my shit. I was like, maybe I'll go to fucking Chattahoochee Hills or whatever. And then she like, so then whatever, continues on. She's like telling me like where she's from and shit. And she's like, where are you from? And then I was like, Toronto. She was like, okay. And then her man's just like telling her like, she's like, don't tell him where you're from. He's like, lie. And then she was like, he wants me to lie about where. And I was just like, oh Lord. And meantime, the whole time, Lily, I'm on my phone like this. Like, I'm really not trying to make eye contact. Yeah. I'm just like giving short. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to engage in this. And then, whatever. They ended up leaving. And then like, whatever. Then like 2 minutes later, she like walks back in, and I look and I see her. I'm like, oh Lord, what now? And she like tells the bartender like I would never like interrupt your customers or whatever, like whatever. And I was like, but you're gonna do it right now. She had her phone out and take a picture
of you.
Yeah, I could see it. So I was like, oh shit. Then she comes around, takes a selfie, I put a peace sign, and then I was like, well, you'll make a bunch of money off that one day. And she was like, ooh, like walks out.
That's hilarious.
That's what happened when I went to dinner.
That's funny as shit.
Yeah, it's not the first time someone's asked me that, but yeah, it was definitely geek. It was the weird situation there. I was not trying to engage, but yeah, it was funny. So
that's wild.
Yeah. This geek, man. Well, yeah, dude. Shit. Some sad shit happens this like whole week. It was like the Hockey brothers died.
Oh yeah.
Like Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. Yep. They died from a drunk driver, I guess. Swerving around another car thinking that they wouldn't let it pass him, or wouldn't let him pass them. And the car was just getting over because they were on their bikes. That's crazy. The 49ers dude got shot in the chest. You hear about this?
What? No.
The rookie.
Who?
49ers rookie, something Parcell or something like that.
I don't know. Like, did he die?
No, he didn't die.
Wow.
I guess like some dude tried to mug him for his watch, and then he was like fought him with the gun. The gun like shot like through his chest, like missed all vital organs, and went out the back.
Oh wow.
And then I guess like the cop pulled up on the scene, or there was like off duty or something. And he's like on football. He's like, I'm gonna die, and then she was like, no, you're not, and then like helped him, and then he got in the ambulance or whatever.
Damn.
But people were saying that, like I look in the comments and recently like some comments are like I knew the shit was fake when he's getting on the gurney, because he's like getting on the gurney and he's like holding his chest, but he's like walking or whatever. So people were, and then the one of the offensive linemen like Trent Williams was holding out, but after this now he's like, oh, I'm gonna come back now. So he came back and signed or whatever. And there's like that one dude that I talked about where he has like all the numbers. He's like, oh, this adds up. That guy was like, oh, it adds up to whatever. Like basically it's scripted. I was like, damn, saying that someone got shot is scripted. It's crazy, but in this world, you know.
Yeah, it's not that far fetched.
And then shit, school shooting today.
Yeah, that's crazy.
First one like documented of the year, like just nuts.
Yeah.
It's like every few months, like there's gonna be
something to stir it up. The thing that I thought was weird was one. I mean, I don't know the Georgia laws. Like, if you get tried as an adult, that's what I was thinking. Because the guy, like
it was GBI.
GBI, like I think it's Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
I'll look it up right now just to be.
Yeah, what's GBI? I think that's what it is. That'd be my best guess.
It's not a bad guess.
But he was like, "Oh, he'll be tried as an adult," and I'm like, unless it's a law in Georgia that.
Yep, Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And let's see.
Is it a law in Georgia that if you murder someone, you try it as an adult, no matter what the age is?
I'll look it up right now.
Or maybe like a mass murder, or maybe like a technically, I don't know what they call a serial killer anymore, but.
Turn my Wi-Fi on. It's taking a while. If a child is over 13, okay. So, in general, any child who is 17 years or older is considered an adult in Georgia. In addition, if a child commits a crime on the last day being 16 years old, he or she may be tried as an adult. If a child is over 13 years old and is charged with a certain violent crime, murder, voluntary manslaughter, rape, aggravated sexual assault, armed robbery, etc., the child can be tried as an adult in criminal court unless the court transfers the case to juvenile court. However, if a child over 13 years of age commits a crime that carries a potential penalty of life without parole or death, he or she must be tried as an adult.
So that's what it was.
So maybe that's what it was, because
technically it's a mass shooting.
Yeah.
So that's like a... Okay, because, yeah, he was like, oh, he'll be tried as an adult, and I was just like, that's not... I thought that just gets decided.
It feels like you have to go to court. It feels like you have to go to court for them to decide, but I guess here it's saying that if they do something that can carry potential penalty of life without parole or
I want to see. Can you pull up a picture of him? What the guy say? His name was Colt something?
Yeah.
I'd like to see what he looks like. I can't even imagine, dude. What the fuck? A 14-year-old kid, like... Because the one thing that I thought, like, that was the one thing, the first thing I wasn't sure about, what, like, the fact that he said that it'd be.
I don't know if we'll be able to find a picture.
I bet you there is. I mean,
I'm sure there is,
like,
but
yearbook photos
just because he's a minor, they might not be able to post it.
Nah, but somebody has a yearbook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They always put the yearbook photos.
Let me see if I can.
But the other thing that was weird was, well, it's not weird, but it's one of those things that I can see through it. Where it's like they had the one kid like recanting his story of like, not recanting. Is that what it is? Recanting when you're saying it again. Anyway.
So I guess it. Sorry, what were you saying? It looks like I guess it was one kid and two adults.
Oh, I thought they said 2 kids died.
It looks on this. I'm looking. I'm not. This is not the picture of the kid, but it's like the victim says one kid, and then there's like 2 adults underneath.
Oh, that's the victims.
That's what it says. I'll still look for. So what were you saying? Sorry.
They had the one kid like telling the story of what happened.
Okay.
And I'm like in my mind, like I'm one side, I'm like in the news sense, it's like for people to watch and get like an insight of what happened. Like, of course, everybody wants to know, but the other side of it is I can also see like that the news is using this kid as like their like because when something like this happens, they use it to like push fear, obviously. You know, that's like the greatest seller of the news is fear.
Yeah.
So I'm watching this kid like who's telling the story of what happened, and he's just telling it because it's what happened to him or whatever. But then if you really break it down, it's like forever this kid will have like this story where he put his thing up there and was a part of this machine, but he has no idea. And that was one thing that just crossed my mind.
I'll type it in on Instagram. The Safari won't give me it. Yeah, no, definitely.
I'm sure there's a picture somewhere.
There's definitely crazy. I mean, yeah, making them retail, and then it's gonna push
like forever. I mean, yeah, it's just pushing fear. But it's like, but the kid obviously doesn't know, and he's just. Most people don't think about it like that. I think.
Yeah.
So
definitely some crazy shit. We're getting closer to the
election.
Yeah.
Who's the final cast? Trump and
Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. I wonder who's gonna win.
It's very interesting, dude.
I think it's gonna be Trump. I don't imagine she wins. But she's very obviously a puppet. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because you have it. I don't know. People really don't like Trump.
I know.
In some ways, I guess for good reason, but also I feel like he was just running off a certain. He did what he had to do to win, the first time. But I feel like Trump in 2016 is different than Trump now. No.
Yeah, definitely.
He's different. Like he had to. He's not gonna be the exact same.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The last 4 years, like Kamala Harris is technically the vice president, so I don't know anyone who thinks that the last 4 years were great is kind of like that's kind of ridiculous. Like I don't know. I can't find a picture of him, by the way.
The thing, okay,
So
whatever.
I'm sure it'll come out at some point.
The thing about it is, I think like it really is, the whole thing is so crazy and it's so deep on so many levels that you like no matter. In most situations, wherever the extent of your knowledge goes, there's a trap to catch you. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about this earlier, and this is going to be a huge full circle. But you know the guy Neon, who so when he first got popular,
he's a streamer for those who don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure most people. Well, if you don't know, yeah, you look him up. It's pretty easy to find. He used to like run with Aiden Ross back when, whatever. So when he first started, he was doing whatever he was doing, and he built whatever traction he was building, and then he fell off. Mm-hmm. And then when he fell off, he faked his own death. And then when he faked his own death, he blew up. And then he came back from, I faked my own death. Got a lot of traction. Aiden Ross took him in. He blew up from there. Ego kind of got ahead of him. He was making a lot of money, doing a lot of things. Felt like he didn't need to be under Aiden Ross's thing. They had a little beef, and because of that, it cost Neon to lose his kick deal or whatever. I think that was called. It was called Kick. Mm-hmm. And then he pretty much. Well, and after that, I haven't heard much about him anymore. It kind of fell off again because of that. And I saw this video of him, and it was actually Aiden Ross laughing at it because I'll scroll through the feeds of him saying that he only had like 5 days to live or something. It's like essentially and then Aiden Ross just laughing because it's like bullshit. Mm-hmm. But because in reality, like you never know you have 5 days. That's like there's no ever guarantee of how many days, even with the doctors and shit. They can't. Yeah. So he went through this this cycle, right? Like he went up, and in the very beginning, and then he fell off, and then he did this thing. He faked his death to go up. So then when he fell back off again, he did the same thing again, right? But this time it didn't really work because everyone's like, bullshit, you did this before, da-da-da-da. One of the things I noticed is he had this bodyguard, and I used to watch a lot of these videos, and the bodyguard would be giving him like advice, wisdom, whatever. I don't know if you know the guy.
Yeah, I've seen the little clips.
And then it came to a point in time where the bodyguard stopped working for him. Mm-hmm. And I think it was internal shit because I saw a lot of things where he'd be like, oh, you don't respect me, like da-da-da-da, like. And he was doing a lot for him. Mm-hmm. So now I don't know if money's an issue now for him or what. But he had this one dude who was his new bodyguard. I saw this little clip who he brought to like a jiu-jitsu place, and the guy was like hitting the bag, and he was like terrible. Like all his punch cases were terrible. Like he would get his ass whooped, and then he's like, "Oh, he's like, you lied to me. You told me you could do jiu-jitsu, or whatever." So it's like, but me. So my analyzation of that is like, you have this kid who got into the space that he got into, made whatever success he made. The ego got ahead of him, and then now he ended up in a situation where he's super famous. If you walk down the street, like there's videos of people like trying to jump him because he talked a lot of shit. Like he did like the Tekashi 6ix9ine thing where he's like, "Oh, I'm untouchable," because he had this bodyguard that could protect him, and that happened a lot, or at least enough that I saw in the clips and shit. I don't know if it was fake. He could have fake videos of people jumping and whatever, like, because that was one thing that like they said with Tekashi 6ix9ine, there was people who like he would pay them to beef with him on social media, but since it's paid, it's like a thing where it's like, oh, nothing's gonna actually happen. You're just doing it on social media, because that was a lot of ways to stay relevant. Like you're beefing with somebody, rather than beefing with somebody in a real way where it can actually get dangerous. So I don't know. Some of the videos could be faked. I'm sure some of them probably are, but and there was some that it actually looked like he got jumped. So I don't know if that was fake too, or if he actually happened. I think that was pre-bodyguard. That's probably when he realized it. But anyway, besides the point, it doesn't matter. But he created for himself a prison of his own fame. Because he's famous, if his money slowed up, because he lost like a multi-million-dollar deal, like $2 or $3 million, he lost it. So if he's losing his money, right, because people aren't paying attention, people don't click as much anymore, people don't tap into his streams as much anymore because they don't care anymore. Because it happens a lot. You see that with a lot of people who build their shit off gimmicks, where eventually people stop caring. Because it's like, I mean, even the big, like it, and this is not a diss because I love these guys and it's actually like a good example in not a negative way, but like who was popular first, Sketch or Jinxie?
Probably Jinxie.
Jinxie was.
Yeah.
He was popular first, and then Sketch became popular after him. But then Sketch blew up even further, right? So but I'm not saying they're giving because I like both those guys. But right now, right now, they're not as big as they were 6 months ago. And then for Sketch, for Jinx, it's even farther because he was kind of popping before in the social media stuff, but he's not as big now in terms of whatever. So, but that's not a bad thing. That's just life, because people start to they discover you, they like you, they tap into what you're doing, and then they move on, and that's just and your life moves on too. And then the goal really is to just, in so many ways, do the things that you love, do what makes you happy, and keep growing, keep evolving, and eventually those cycles repeat themselves. And if you get to that point where it's like the reason why people fell in love with you, they'll fall in love with you for that reason again. And that continues. And that's if the people are doing something real or funny that's true to them. The thing I think that I like about both those guys is what bleeds through is you feel it. It's funny. It's entertaining. It's fun watching those guys. Like Jinxie's clips are hilarious. The way they talk to each other is funny. And whatever, so on and so forth. But you re-fall in love with them because whatever you connected with them on was real. It was a raw thing that you connected on, then you re-fall in love. So those people will always ride those waves as long as they don't crash themselves out. Yeah, they'll forever be fine. But the people who built themselves off gimmicks, those people always crash out because it's inevitable. Like, because the gimmicks aren't felt in the heart. But so, for example, like when I was talking about Neon, he trapped himself in this prison of fame, where now you're famous. If you don't have as much money to protect yourself from the bodyguards, things that you put yourself in an echelon where you need those things, especially because when you start to have them, you invite a certain energy. You get used to it. You get used to someone protecting you. And now you need it all the time because when you had that shield the whole time, you could operate in a certain fashion. If you take that shield away and you've already operated in that fashion for however long, and however people felt about it, they felt about it. Yeah. So you already brought it upon yourself. True. But you become a prisoner of your own fame because now it's like you have to keep up this certain thing. But if your finances go down or whatever to actually be able to keep it up, then you get stuck in this box. And so what I'm saying to say all this is that on every single level, that's a pretty major level, right? A lot of people know who he is. You're famous, whatever in the world, fame. But from the very bottom of the regular shit, like not even regular, but the very bottom being like homeless maybe, to like just have a regular job, like not a college job, just a regular job, because there's a lot of people doing that. Then like college jobs, they're all traps in a certain extent. The regular jobs that don't require college are traps because they don't pay you enough really to ever get out. You only, if you really factor in, if you're doing it by yourself or even with one other person, it's damn near impossible. Like if you factor in the average monthly salary of someone who works a regular job, like even 20 an hour, you take out rent, you take out bills, you take out car insurance, health, whatever, you're left with about like maybe $200 at the end of the month that you can save or whatever. But then if you add other things, it's like whatever. If we really break down the math, we could do it, but another day. So it's a trap, right? Because you can never really get out. Because finances is how you elevate through the system. It's money and fame. But if you don't have it, you can't elevate in that direction. But okay, so you get a college job, but now the college job comes with a recourse because you have the degree you have to pay for. And if you weren't lucky enough for someone else to pay for it, you're going to be paying for it for a while. So even if you get the nice job, the person who got to work right away, you know, they're starting to make money like this. You're getting debt. You're going down. So even if you get the nice job, your scale might be faster, but it's still going to take you like 10, 15 years to even catch up if this person played it smart, right? If they saved the pennies they could save, they're going to go up like this. And the college person's starting down here because they're in the negatives, whereas the regular person's not in the negatives. So they're both traps. Like, and even though at the end, especially if you become a doctor or something, you'll maybe after 20 years, 15 years, you'll ascend to a higher level than the person who just did the regular job. But what happens then, you went to school at 18, you're 33 years old. So your youth is gone. So you to get to a higher level you traded your youth. And those people who become doctors and engineers, because there's a girl I used to work with who was studying to be a biochemist. And the amount of workload, she was a fucking brilliant person. One of my favorite people I worked with. But the workload she was always stressed about like the work and this, that, the other, because it was so much shit she had to do. Like it was nonstop. And that doesn't stop the whole time because you have to learn all these things and you have to do it. And it's all intense because those higher paying jobs are intense. If you're an architect, it has to be right. Otherwise, the building can fall and kill people. Lives are literally on the line. Same thing if you're a doctor. You got to learn how to do it because if you do the wrong thing, you can kill someone. But it's all a trap. Every single level is a trap. The only way that's really, it's all a trap. Even if you follow your dream, it's a trap. Because, like, I can tell you the trap I'm in. The trap I'm in is I'm someone who took the lane that, okay, I'm not going to do the regular shit. Like, yeah, I still got a regular job and I do whatever, but all the meanwhile, I'm doing this other thing. The trap I fall in is that society doesn't respect you. So when you navigate through the space, you're always working at a detriment because society doesn't respect you. If you are someone who just has a regular job and you just do whatever, society respects you because they're like, oh, okay, you're doing this. But when you try to do this other thing, society looks at you as foolish. Like you're somebody who you just want to do this other thing, da-da-da-da. Or because of other people who don't actually respect the craft, they look at you like they look at them and they don't respect you. You know, because there's a lot of people who just do music to make money and they do the gimmicky shit.
Yeah.
And then people, when you're like, oh, I want to make music, I met so many people who were just like kids and young people like, oh, I want to make music, and they're all just doing gimmicky shit. Like they don't actually feel it or care or take the time to really study or master their craft. They really just, they look at the image of it and they want that and they do that. So the trap that I'm in is that my sacrifice is like I have to, not have to because I get to, but also have to spend years and years and years to actually master my craft, put thousands and thousand hours in, all while getting no props, no credit, no respect, none of that. Because people don't understand it.
Yeah.
You know, they don't care. Because that's the space. They've been made not to care. No one's taught how to truly understand art or feel art. Everything's been dumbed down and diminished. Where it's like all about the BS. That's what they push on the radio. This, like the concepts and the people that they will push, the artists that they will push are the ones who perpetuate what they want to perpetuate. Anything that's negative. Because negativity keeps you at a low vibration. When you're at a low vibration, you're not open and open-hearted, open-minded to new things, and that's how you learn. That's how you grow. Yeah. They want people to pick a lane, stay in it, and that's the trap I'm in. But there's a trap for every single level. You know, no matter what level you're on, there's a trap. Even if you're the most famous, the president is a trap, because now you're essentially a pawn in the game, one of the biggest pawns, biggest pieces. So, the thing about Trump. So full circle, is that like the trap that's set up for him is the trap that's like, if you like him, you're racist or you're sexist or you're this because of the clips and things that are set up because he said things of this and that nature. Yeah. And I'm not here to defend anybody's word, because your word is your bond and mine is mine. But I can see the trap. The trap is set up so that people are you're supposed to feel like it's the wrong thing to do to pick him.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're faced with the choice between him and somebody who has done, this is somebody who said a lot of crazy shit, like Trump. You put him in that category. That's the trap that's been created, and his credit for himself because he had done that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the person who like actually has put away like innocent people in jail and extended jail times and, you know, whatever. If you look at the prison history alone, is terrible.
And she's also running on fixing the things that got the problems that were created in the last 4 years.
Which they all do.
Which they did them.
Yeah.
So it's like...
But they always say that. They're like, oh, we'll fix what he did wrong, I'll fix it. But they're a part of it. So it's like, you're not going to do shit.
Yeah.
But point being is like, and this might be offensive, but I don't know. In no rational sense can you look at Kamala Harris and be like, she is the one for the job.
Yeah.
No rational sense.
Yeah.
But then you turn the tables and people say, well, I shouldn't vote for Trump, or feel like you're not supposed to say, if you say like anyone who, and I think it too, because I see the trap. Anyone who's like a super diehard Trump fan, I'm like, okay, there's got to be something there. Like fall back a little bit. Like, don't go so hard. Like, it looks a little weird. But that's what's been created. But if you take the two options and you're like, which one's the better option? Actually, he's the better option.
Didn't the last election wasn't the push, don't vote for him, like he's terrible, so anyone else but him?
Yeah, that was bad.
So you're gonna run the same tactic, anyone else but him, but it's like,
yeah.
But then one thing that Aaron Mace is mad about was that RFK dropped out, pretty much, and endorsed Trump. And I guess his point was that he shouldn't have endorsed anyone. But when I watched like the little video and I heard what he was saying, he was basically like, I'm pretty sure he didn't get the ballot in New York, so he wouldn't have been able to no one would be able to even vote for him in New York. So you're gonna not be able to get any of those electoral votes. So in some ways, what's the point? But then if you endorse nobody, and the people that are looking to you, they don't know what you want or what you think, they might choose whatever side. But he's looking at it like, if he's talked to her and he sees this side and he's like, this is not good, and if she squeaks in and goes 8 years, the dude's already like 70, like
it's over for him.
Trump only can be in for 4 years no matter what. So at the bottom line, that alone is better off for him, because then next time there's two new he has two spots.
Shit, maybe Trump rides for him in his corner.
So, and then I guess he did say that in the thing, like, if one person's going to talk to you and the other person isn't. So Trump is going to be like, let me get the RFK people, say I'm going to do one or two things that RFK whatever. But so who knows? So but I was like, so Aaron Ray said he shouldn't endorse any. I'm like, I would, if I'm doing it, I would probably lead my people that are following me to what decision I think is best for the moment. And he knows that in 8 years he's fucked. 4 years he can still do 8. He can at least do 4.
Yeah.
And next time there's gonna be two candidates two open spaces versus one. If Kamala's in, then there'll be one already locked in. And there's another person.
And then maybe if Trump pushes all the people towards him.
So then if Trump turns around and starts doing a couple things like whatever, I'm not sure exactly. Obviously, I don't know what he taught, but if he talked to him, you know what I mean? Then it's like, in some ways, like, why would you? And I understand why he might endorse Trump over not endorsing anyone at all, because it's like, and at the end of the day, if the polls are showing, like, because I'm pretty sure, remember when he first was saying between Biden and him, it was like, with me in, it's like, I beat Biden by a lot, but I think Trump beats him. If you take him out, Trump wins by like a landslide. Like, that was like the early polls or whatever. But now Biden's out, so obviously it's different. But
yeah.
So, but the thing about Trump is that the last time, and people will joke about it now, where it's like, Trump's the kind of guy that says, like, when you beat him in a game and he goes, oh, you cheated. You know what I mean? They put the stigma that, like, he's saying, like, he couldn't accept that he lost.
Yeah.
But if he was literally telling you that he actually won,
And the shit is rigged.
And he lost, and because the last time they did, the first time they ever did mail-in ballots, and I know we know of people who went to vote and they already were voted for. So it's like sketchy stuff did go on. So if he was telling the truth and he had more votes than the first time, so now if he has more votes than the first time, the second time, there's like, can you pull that same card again? I don't probably, but you know what I mean. So I think for the way I looked at it was that RFK realized that if Kamala wins, we're fucked. And he was like, we have to go here.
Yeah.
So, and he knew that he couldn't win this time, but 4 years from now, he might have a better chance.
It's a graceful bow out.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Very interesting, though. We'll see.
So, but I don't know. That's the thing that's, I don't know. For me, it's just like, we'll see what happens. But it's all these, I don't know. For me, I don't know. I hate it.
Yeah.
So much. I really do. And so
it's very, very sticky.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's so hard because on one side I really
just like
do.
2 months away, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know, because on one side I do believe that like eventually the world will move towards a direction that's actually like an authentic push. But it's just like, I don't know, I just don't see it.
Yeah,
so it's I really part of me feels like I would probably die before I ever see it move in the direction that I can envision.
Based off statistics and the way that its life's been recently, probably. So, but I mean, I don't know, man. One divine intervention could always happen, I guess.
Yeah, it's just the swoop of a hand, but
still.
So I don't know. It's one of those things.
And if anything, Earth will just shake and reset the people.
Yeah, that's no good though.
Yeah, we don't need to be reset.
I wonder what everybody thinks. Like, I wonder how people's thought process are and how they justify. Because I do, like, the conversations I do have, I do feel like most people make the decisions based off emotion and not rationality. And because of that, it's just like, it's very weak-minded. Like, I'm an emotional person, but I know how to make rational decisions.
Yeah.
Even in an emotional context. Because I know that you will make the wrong choice if you just decide to do everything off emotion.
Yeah.
And I've seen it, like, I'm not going to name names, but I've seen people who are, like, they're hurt in their own lives, and they've created this thing. It's with the Trump thing especially. They created this thing where they, like, made him the enemy, and they connect it to their pain. And so they can't stand the person because it reminds them of their pain. And this is a basic thing for all things. Like, people that I have to deal with, like everybody, right? There's always that one person at a job who's just a terrible person to everybody, and they're usually a manager, right, or someone of power for whatever reason. They're always somebody who has some sort of power, but they're a piece of shit. And like, this person just hates themselves so much that they have to try to make everyone else's lives miserable. And it's like, because they're so connected to their pain without dealing with it, that they just like, they don't understand and how to move through that. So they make all these decisions based off the emotion, this pain, this hurt. And they make everyone else's life harder. And this is like across the board. And so it's like, I feel like that's the part that's insane to me, is like, it's like a bunch of little kids making decisions. Like, it's like asking a toddler to make like decisions about war. Like, oh, should we bomb this? How many troops should we send here? And they're like, 20. Just pick a number and you just do it. And because the emotion, that's the emotional intelligence, I feel like that is the standard, is that of like a small child. Because most people aren't emotionally evolved to that, like, and it's very easy to tell, like, especially when I talk to older people, and it's so apparent when you talk to older people, because when you talk to older people who've been through their life and they're more settled in, they're usually more emotionally intelligent people. They've been through having kids, having grandkids, losing more loved ones, losing friends as age goes on, and they've more accepted this is life and da-da-da-da, and they're grateful for what they have because they've lost so much. Because the older you get, the more you lose. And you take that old person, you sit them next to the old person who's still lost. You're like, I mean, not that these people are not lost, because in a way that they're, they are in a way as well, in their own trap. But then you look at the person who's just like still chasing. Like, these people, they're not chasing anything. They're not chasing money. They're not chasing fame. They just want to be happy. They just want to sit, chill with their friends, with their family, whatever, and just be happy, live their lives. Then there's people I see that they're like older people, like 60s, 70s, that are still chasing, still hunting, still trying to get that validation, still trying to get that. And it's an endless cycle that never ends.
Mm-hmm.
Endless, obviously, but, and it's just like, damn, like, when do you realize like what life is actually about?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like whatever you believe, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, always, no matter what, it always comes down to love.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people only fight and die for things they love. When you're scared, you fight. But there's no core in that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just internal survival instinct.
Yeah.
But you fight harder for something that you love.
Yeah.
Everyone does. And so when the thing isn't based in love, it's like, what are you fighting for? Why are you struggling so hard if you don't even love it? And that's the reminder I have, like, even in my workplace. On one side, yes, work pays the bills. I got kids. I got to make sure that they can eat. Mm-hmm. On the other side, and I think about it, I'm like if I was to randomly lose my job for some reason, I'd be like, oh, fuck, like I need to get some money. But I would just go get another job. I might make less money, or I might have to work more hours here or there just to catch up or make up for it or figure out a new balance. But it's a dime a dozen. You just go find a new job, and that's that. Mm-hmm. And you go do some other shit. Because my goal, my career isn't this thing.
Yeah.
And that's the key that the regular people have. But they never use it. Except for some people, when we always think it's hilarious when they're like, fuck this job. I don't give a fuck about this job. Yeah. You know, when you see those videos and people do that, and everyone loves it because that's what, at your heart, that's your freedom. Mm-hmm. It's like, fuck this shit. Like, I don't need this shit. But the trap for the people who do 10 years to become a doctor or become an engineer, if they don't really love it, is you can't lose it. Yeah. Because you spent 10 years doing something you didn't love. I met this lady who's a lawyer. She used to be a bartender. And I'm bartending, and I was sitting talking to her, and she's like, she kept saying it over and over and over, like, oh man, I miss doing that. I miss being a bartender. Because she had got to the point where she finished her school and she was in a law firm or whatever, mm-hmm. and she was miserable. She hated it. And to the point, at one point in the conversation, she excused herself, went to the bathroom, didn't come out for like 10 something minutes. She had already paid. And then I went to go do some other shit. When I came back, she was gone. And I was like, so whatever it is that was in her, I think I brought this up before, was in her space. Yeah. It's like that weight, but she can't leave because she's like, oh, I have all this debt. I can't leave. Yeah. And the lawyer thing is going to bring me more money than this thing, but I hate this thing. 2 years ago or
3 years ago, they had all those people pushing the vaccine on them.
Although I don't think the lawyers had to take that.
No, I'm just saying, like, imagine doing it, and then now.
Oh, for like medical.
Yeah, now you gotta.
And military.
You gotta make this choice for your body.
Yeah, and if you put all that time into it, and now you're forced to do this thing that you don't really have a choice in, it's like, that's the craziest thing. Is like, as a country, we are so like hell bent on our freedoms, and we don't realize that like a lot of the freedoms we actually have, we don't exercise them because we're afraid. And a lot of the freedoms that they say we have, we don't actually have. Mm-hmm. The ones we really have, we don't use. And the ones they say we have, we don't actually have. You're not actually free in some facets. Yeah. And the things you are free in, most people are afraid to make that jump. So in my mind, I'm like, on one side, I take this shit seriously because I'm like, okay, I got to feed the family. I got to put food on the table. And I'm a ride like that. And on the other side, I'm like, if something happens, something happens. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not the end of the world because, yeah. And I see that in people, like, and it's easy for me to tell the people that, but I'll be like, there's people, like, because I'm okay at my job. I'm not miserable there. Yeah. I don't want to do it really, but I'll do it. It's not terrible. Yeah. You know, it's all right. It's not my passion, but I'll do it. I'll do it for now type shit. But there's people who are like, they walk in that building and they're fucking miserable. Yeah. And I'm like, get a different job. Like, go somewhere else. Like, even people I fuck with that I want to see them, I'm like, yo, leave. Like, go somewhere else. And like, one of my friend, which I'm gonna send him this video, my friend Lucas, who I miss, he's one of those people that the shit wasn't working out. He wasn't happy where he was, and they fucking moved to South Carolina, North Carolina. He's like, fuck it, he just started over, packed up all his shit and moved on. Yeah. I'm like, that's fucking dope. So it's like, on one side, selfish wants him around because I loved him. Mm-hmm. Like, he was one of my favorite people in there, and I miss him. because that was my guy. Like I only have like 2 or 3 of those people in there that I really fuck with that I'd actually hang out with outside of the place, and he's one of those people. So I miss him, but at the end of the day, I want what's best for him, and I admire that he took that leap to go out, because like that's a freedom you have that most people won't do it because they're afraid, or there's so many things that tie them down, and they won't just make the decision that's best for themselves, you know. And so I don't know. It's one of those things. All these traps are embedded, and I feel like most people are afraid to move, and make some shit shake, you know. And so that's the part that I think when it comes to all, I don't know.
The scariest part is definitely that in between.
Yeah, because you don't know where you're gonna land.
You have to put money out. You don't know where money's gonna come in.
Well, it's the new. I think it's not even the in between. It's really just the new of it. It's the beginning of it, knowing where to start. You're like, I don't know, because I have to pay this bill now. Yeah. How do I, you know?
Then, like you said, if you have kids, and it's like
you got to make sure.
There's no way I can't let my kids eat. Like I gotta make sure they eat. So
yeah,
there's that. So then that adds a little extra fear or anxiety in the decision.
Yeah.
Where if you wake up, those days you wake up like I'm gonna do it, and then like you open the cabinet and there's no more cereal, and you're like fuck.
Yeah.
And you gotta get cereal, then you might be like, oh, I'll do it one more day, but then one more day leads to 2 to 3 to 4, and you go back to that point, and then
years go by.
Yeah. And then the more you're in it, the deeper you're in it.
Yeah.
You know?
It pulls you in. Yeah. So I don't know. So it's one of those things that I think, like, as much as it's hard to ask anyone to do that, I do think that a lot of the decisions when it comes to the country and the world and stuff, it's like, it's so many emotionally charged decisions. And emotionally, I vote for this person because of this reason or this thing. And I just think that's a little bit dangerous. Because it's not based in like what's actually best for me, what's best for my family, what's best for this. It's fear, like you're afraid. And I'm just like, I don't know. And that's why in my mind, and it might not be right, but I justify, and I don't even care to justify it, even if I'm doing some shit that I know is probably not right. Because I'm just like, this is what it is. This is the system we live in. So in my mind, I will stay true to myself always, and I'll finesse always. I'm always going to finesse. I'm always going to find the nooks, crannies, loopholes, and I'll exploit them until they close. Because there's no one doing me any favors. No one's going to do me any favors. Like, who's gonna reach out and be like, yo, here's 10 G's to help you follow your dream? No one's doing that. No one's saying, hey, I'll pay your rent for 10 years so you can get your shit up off the ground, or I'll help you do this or help you. No one's doing that. So it's like, in my mind, as long as you're not stepping on other people in like a real way, or putting, especially people who don't deserve it, because sometimes people who do deserve it, I've definitely, ran game on people who deserved it, and they got the shit end of the stick, but they deserve the shit end of the stick because they do that shit to other people. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it better, and you'll end up like that. And then what? But nobody's gonna, I don't know, like nobody's out here being the hero. There's nobody out here saying like, yo, I'm gonna put people in positions who actually want to chase their dreams and follow their dreams and help them. Because if there was, I feel like shit, so they would have caught me by now, some way, shape, or form, and help me get there. But nobody's doing that. So it's like, you have to, in my mind, it's like, that's why I feel like I'll stay as morally clean as I possibly can. And I won't foul anybody who doesn't deserve it or whatever. But at the same time, I will finesse and I will scheme, and I'll move my way through the system, understanding that this system is stealing from me every step of the way. I'm going to steal shit back. Period. And I think people are just afraid. People are afraid to take steps, to take chances, where I'm like, shit, man, if it came down to it and you have to move in a different way, then it's not that serious. As long as you're not doing anything crazy to get you thrown in jail or something, then fucking do it. But most people are afraid. It's like, that's the thing I think, like this, it starts with Santa Claus when you're a kid. Like, Santa's always watching. And they use that so that you don't do anything that they don't want you doing. Because Santa's always watching. If you do something bad, he'll see it and you won't get toys. So all those little instincts where you see the loopholes and you see a flaw and you see a way to scheme or your way out, you don't do it. You say, stay in line. Don't go out of line. Stay in line. because that's the morally right thing to do. That's what Santa Claus wants you to do. But those morals are created by the same people who trap you in the boxes. So what's the real moral? The real moral comes from in here, not up here. Up here was given to you. In here, or up here was placed upon you, I'll say, by people. Here, this comes from God. This comes from the universe. The morals in your heart. So, in my space, I operate through that. Filter through the mind so I don't make irrational decisions. Got to use your brain. But I feel like most people are just afraid. And that's why, like, sometimes it's easier when somebody else is doing it, and it's easier to be like, oh, you should just do this. It's easy to say from the outside in. But sometimes I see or watch people walk themselves into situations that I'm like, you don't have to do that. You can pivot. Like, nobody, you don't owe anybody shit. You don't owe anybody shit. Who do you owe? You don't owe your parents. Like, yeah, okay, they might help you in your life and they might help you do this, but they had you. That was their choice, not yours. So anything they gave you, that was their responsibility. Just like how I feel with the kids. They don't owe me shit. Doesn't matter. You don't owe me shit. It was my choice. Period. So you don't owe your parents anything. You don't owe anybody anything. You owe yourself. You owe yourself to go chase your dreams. And I don't even like that saying anymore as I say it out my lips, because it's always just cliche at this point. But you owe it to yourself to be like, I want to do what I want to do and be happy. I want to find my own self-discovery. I want to be wherever you envision yourself. And I say start with your death. Start with the moment you die and work backwards from there. Visualize how you would want to die. How would you want to die? Work back from there. How do you get there? Because if you want to die like this, you had to do these things. How'd you get there? Because in order for you to be in your final moment of exactly how you'd want it to be, you have to live your life like that. Doing the things that you want to do. You won't get a perfect forever happy ever after if you spend your whole life doing some shit you hate. It'll never happen. You're always going to be stuck doing the bullshit. So, but in the meantime, this, I can't lie. It's America. I need to survive. You know what I mean? But I think I wish that I see or would see more people have the other thing, like the thing that you love, working on that, like doing that along the way. Like, yeah, you might have to do a bunch of this shit. It is what it is. That's the system. That was what was given to us. But that doesn't mean that you don't do anything else. When I watch people who, especially people who work hard, because I know some people that work real hard, like 50, 60 hours a week, but they don't do anything else. All you do is work.
Yeah.
So you don't have a life. You're not working for anything. And honestly, especially being a family man, if your excuse extends to I do it for my kids and that's a terrible excuse. That's a cop-out. It's a cop-out to blame them as to why you're not doing shit. Like, yeah, I put food on the table for them. Congratulations. But that's it? To me, that's not good enough. Because that's the example you set. Oh, just go to work all day long, provide for your kids. Then what happens when they grow up? They do the same thing. They don't have a life. So what life did you make for them? The life that they get stuck in the same trap as you and work all the time. So even that is not good enough. So it's like, you got to do the thing that you love. And what the results are, is that's up to God. But I'm going to do the shit I love. So the example I set is I'm going to do what I love. So when you look at me, it's like, what am I doing? The shit I want to do. The shit I love doing. At the end of the day, when I lay my head down on the pillow, I smile. I didn't always smile. Today, I smile. I lay my down, I said, man, I love my life.
Oh, yeah.
That's
dope.
And that came and comes from years of making those little decisions. Of I'm going to go right when they want me to go left. I'm going to do what I feel. And I'm going to move myself into that space. Now, not every day is rainbows and sunshines. I'm not fake.
Yeah.
But when I lay my head down on that pillow, I can say thank you. And I'm grateful for it. And the example I set for the kids is, daddy's making music. Daddy's chasing his dreams. He's doing what he loves. So hopefully that's what they do, what they love.
For sure.
So shit, when I hear someone run off that's their philosophy, that's who I'll vote for.
Oh yeah.
Until then, it's like, it's all bullshit to me. Because what are you talking about? Like, you're talking about all this political government shit. I'm like, who understands this? Like, really? Like, who really understands it? Like, the people who study those specific things. But it's like, for the average everyday person, they don't understand that. I don't understand all these little, when you look at the news and there's all these like 3-letter things and you got the stock market and there's all ups and downs. It's all foreign. It's all alien. It's not real. It's just numbers and things. But real life is rooted in humanity. And that's what I think people have to channel. Just the humanity. You know?
For sure.
And it's like, in my space, like there's someone at work, and I told this a long podcast ago, where essentially, long story short, it's just a very foul thing this person did, said, whatever. And in so many ways, I was like, fuck you. Like so many ways I wanted to go which way. But I just stayed away, kept my cool, did my thing. And I'm in this space now where this person's now being kind to me again. And I'm just like, in my mind, I know exactly what kind of person you are. So I'm like, but I'm still like, okay, I'm just going to chill. I don't have to prove a lesson. Like, I don't have to be the one who tells you what you need to learn. You know, somebody else will do it eventually. But I don't have to be that person, because why should I trouble myself with your burden? When you make other people's life miserable, that's your burden.
Yeah.
Because we'll let it go. I'll let it go. But you won't. You got to live with it. And you can turn a blind eye to it, but it comes back. And I've seen that. We've seen that. Where the people who can't let it go, and they got it so like buried deep within themselves that they can't even begin to unpack what they got going on. Because the shit that they've done that they know is wrong. It's layers and layers and layers and layers. They can't even start. And that's their hell that they've created for themselves, that they will forever live in until you can unpack it and look back and be like, oh, when I did that shit was wrong. Because when you wrong somebody, it's wrong. You know, when you hurt somebody out of hurt, that's wrong. Even if you can say, oh, well, I was just hurt. Like, yeah, that's a good start. But still, you know, right is right, wrong is wrong. But those decisions, that when you do that, it's all a life lesson. So when you do something wrong and you hurt someone else, if you look at it and you realize, like, oh man, that was wrong. Now next time I do the right thing, you're supposed to have done the wrong thing, so that you know what it feels like.
Yeah.
And so that you have that empathy. Most people run from it. They'll run away from it. They'll run away from that feeling of, oh, I don't want people to find out I did some shit wrong. You don't got to tell everybody. I don't got to walk around and tell you everything I did wrong. I just have to realize it. You know, and maybe if you owe an apology here and there, give the apology if it's necessary.
Yeah.
If it's an open thing where everybody's aware of it, it's okay. I'll write. If it was a wrong made in the light, I'll write it in the light. If it's a wrong made in the dark, I'll write it in the dark. But either way, I'm gonna write it, and that's that.
True. Oh yeah.
So all this stuff is like, on one side, it's all good conversational pieces, but I just feel like most of these people are disconnected from reality, and they bring everybody else with it.
Yeah.
It's like get sucked into their fucking world. It doesn't fucking matter. Like if you're not talking about making the world a better place, actually, then I don't give a fuck about the conversation. It doesn't mean anything to me. It's all just bullshit, and I can bullshit all day long when I need to, because that's what I do my job. I pour drinks and I bullshit. But when I have the moments to bring into, if I can sense somebody's in a space where we can talk about something real, then we do it, of course, because I'm always going to go in that direction.
Yeah. Always going to try to pivot there.
Yeah. And some people are just already there, and you're like, okay, bet. That's where we're at. But for me, it's like, I don't know. It's so strange because
it's very much when you meet someone, you're like testing the waters in conversation. You like go here and you might throw an abstract joke out to see if they can
see which way they go
reach
off
there.
Yeah.
And so you're like playing a Minesweeper. Like, let me see, like some people who like someone like that you described is already there, you hit the thing and all the boxes go and there's no bombs. And you can just have a full free conversation.
Yeah.
Some people like you click one and
there's a bomb immediately.
there's only one space that wasn't a bomb. Doesn't matter what you had to pick the right one.
Yeah.
Right. So then now you're like go instead of being able to just like say how you feel, and then they can just say how they feel. It'd be like you say how you feel, it could turn into this and that. Say how you feel to your coworker, like we talked about the last time. You like say how you feel to your coworker, then it might cause some like tension or whatever in the future. So it's easier just to be like not say anything, just like let it just like move on.
Yeah.
And like not tell them what you.
Because I know that because I see it's just being smart about it and like because I see that same person I was talking about. There's another person who, well, really two, but one mainly that consistently rants. Oh, it's actually like a couple people who don't like that person, but will consistently rant like, oh, this person just makes my life harder and they just get me to do these things. I'm like, you have to realize, like, if you're not around this person, they won't do any of that. They'll find somebody else. But you got to be smart and not put yourself in a place that you can get grabbed. Yeah. Like, don't let yourself get sucked in. You know, because when I start to feel myself getting sucked into something, I literally sometimes, like, people are literally talk like mid-sentence and I just walk away. Because especially when I'm working, I'm like, I walk away and I just start doing some shit. Because, like, oh, he's working. But I'm like, bro, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting sucked in to your shit. Like, I don't want to hear it. Like, if you're complaining, sometimes people need a vent. Mm-hmm. But if it's like all the time, and all you got to say is negative shit, true. It's like I don't want to hear it. That's why sometimes, like when it comes to this shit, it's like I don't know, just leave it where it is because my opinion on like where we're at, where we are as a humanity is negative. Yeah, I see. I would say it's pessimistic, but I really feel like it's realistic. I'm just realistic. Like,
just the optimist that's been beat down.
No, I wouldn't even say that. The optimist was naive.
Okay.
I was always wise, but I was still naive at the point in time where, like, even if I go back to my earliest music, I was so... And I had a small... You
could say that when it not isn't that, though, in that moment, like just like we said, it could just take one, like a swoosh over and
become that.
Yeah. So then are you not? So would you? I would argue that you might not be naive, because that's actually the pure thought, the pure feeling.
No, not naive because of a miscalculation
that it could happen
in my approach, but naive in thinking that it could happen like that at that moment. Knowing that there's all these steps that have to take place, and the God snap can, of course, the Thanos snap can, of course, come in and change everything all at once. But it's not just about me. Like before when I'd approach the music and shit, I really did think, and in some ways I still do, but I really did think that if I put these songs out and people listen to these songs, I could change the world and make the world a better place like this. And in some ways that's true, but it's actually not about me. It's about the world. Yeah. The world has to want that. True. I can give the whole template and be like, yo, like if you listen to these things, apply these things to your life, try this, do this, all the things I'm saying, this might be the template to inner peace. It's worked for me, and it could work for other people. But if you don't want it, then it doesn't matter. It's not about me. Fact. You have to take it and apply it. That's the only way for it to do anything. Yeah, true. So when I say naive, I mean naive in like being like, oh, I got to fight for it. And it's like, that's why I told Trey this when I was talking to him. I was like, 2 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, bro, come work over here. Let me get you over here. Let me pull people in the studio. Now it's like, I don't give a fuck. You want to get in the studio? Great. Let's fucking do it. You don't? Cool. It doesn't matter to me because my happiness won't change. And if you don't really want it, I'm not going to sit here and try to force you to do it. Yeah. Because I respect myself too much. Before it was like I had that burning thing of like, I got to help people. Now it's like you do that too much, you're not respecting yourself. Because when you do that, when you open those extensions and you keep the door open constantly and they don't walk through it, that's how they look at you. It's somebody who just opens the door whenever they want to walk through it, they'll walk through it and they'll be there waiting. And whenever I don't, they won't. So it's like, I don't give a fuck, bro. Like if you want the door, you figure out how to open it. I'm not waiting at the door anymore. I'm doing my shit. And y'all can come if you want. But I don't give a fuck. I'm still going. It's like if you're planning a trip. It's like, hey guys, I'm going here. If you want to come, come. If not, cool. Yeah. But this is the date. I already planned it. Now it's a matter of what are you going to do? And then you got to earn your spot because you got to earn your keep. What you going to do? How you going to pull your weight? Everybody must work. Everybody must work on the ship. Nobody gets a free ride. Period. So if you get on there, you can come ride, rock the boat, have a good time, then it's like, okay, we partied, we had fun, now what? What are you going to do? If not, shit, you can come back when we do the next party cruise. And you come party. But you don't get the other shit. Because you got to work for it. It's just natural. Because there'll be a space where you don't belong. If you don't get in the studio time, you don't belong in the studio. So there's no room for you. So out. Same thing with everything else. I mean, shit, podcasts. Can't do the podcast? Out. Come back when you can. Goes for everything. All across the board in every single which way. That's just nature. My understanding is just not getting in the way of it. Like not trying to control it or make it something. It is what it is already. It's just a matter of moving with the river. And if you move with the river, you can swim. I can choose if I want to go left or right. If I try to fight it, I'm just going to be a victim to the tide. Got to go with it. And then you navigate. So for now, that's why now it's like, yeah, if the world gets to a point where all the stuff I would do my old music, where I would try harder to get people to like reach enlightenment, and that's the space it's on, I'm already there. I've been there for so long. It's second nature. My whole life is spiritual. My day to day. Can I sit here and explain that to everybody? No, because most people don't want to hear it. Because it doesn't apply to them. I could be telling the 100% truth all the time. But if you can't understand that, if you're not in that space, it doesn't matter. So there's no point in me trying to prove anything. You can give people all the game. I could tell you about everything. But at the end of the day, if you want it, you'll find it. Because I did. Because I wanted it. So it's like in my space, and that's why I say like, I don't know if I'll see it in my lifetime, because I don't think people want it. Like people don't want it enough.
Yeah.
You know, they don't, because if they did, they would do something. And that doesn't mean like, because I used to look at like the past generations, and when I would look at the problems in the world when I was younger, like 15 and teens, I would be like, how the fuck did you guys let it get to this? We're looking at the generation before. It's like, how did you let it get to this? Like, it's so bad. And then you look at your generation, you're like, oh, they don't care. It's not that they don't know. They just don't give a fuck. They don't care. So they allow these things to happen. It's allowed. Like, bro, talk about the school shooting. This is why I was like, ugh, in the beginning. Ever since Columbine, what has changed to prevent it from happening? Nothing. Yeah. And Columbine was the big one. Jeez, so it's like, oh my God. It's cyclical. So it's like, there's no surprise, but the people, they get all, this is why it's like, man, I feel for the families, but the shit that people say, it's like, shut the fuck up, because you don't care. You won't do anything. You're going to watch it happen, watch it on the news. You're going to pray for the families. Then you're going to move on.
You're going to do what you did the last time that happened.
And then exactly. And then the next time it's going to happen to someone else again and again and again. And it will never stop until people say like, oh shit, this is wrong. We need to fix this. How do we fix this? Let's not just say, oh, he's crazy. They love saying that he's crazy. Oh, he's crazy. So you don't have to understand. When they're crazy, you don't have to understand. You throw it to the side. Oh, he's crazy. It's like, no, you just don't understand. You don't try to understand. Because if we did, maybe these things wouldn't happen. You know? They have such advanced technology when they screen people for military and all these things to see if people are fit to do certain roles, if they can be spies, if they can handle this, the psychology tests. But that's not applied. It all exists. These things can be figured out. Oh, this kid's not getting enough attention at home. Oh, this person's being abused, because you can see it if you're trained. Now, how do we fix these things? But that's not what the world is. The world doesn't care. The world doesn't want to fix it. The world just says, oh, that's the weirdo, stay away. Boom. But then the weirdo shoots up the school. And it's like, oh, man, pray for the families. Like, yeah, pray for the families, but then what? Because the family has to go on without the kid. You go back to whatever you're doing. And you don't do anything. And yeah, like, not every person, like, in order to solve the school shooting problem, you might not have the answer for it. But you also don't do anything in your day-to-day life that changes the infrastructure of the world. Like, you might not be able to do anything because you're not doing anything in your life. But if you're setting the example in the right direction, you're doing what you love, you beam that. Everywhere you go, you beam it. People feel it. It radiates. That's like you're sitting at the bar and she's like, "Are you famous?" Because you beam that. You radiate that. And she came back to take a picture. It changes the way people act when you change the way you act. That's how you change shit. But people don't do that. People don't change the way they act. They stay the fucking same. And that's like the old underachievers line. Ain't worked that hard to stay the same. Like I didn't work this hard to do the exact same thing I did 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And I was having this conversation with Bree where she was talking about how she doesn't like when Calvin swears. And I told her, I was like, yeah, if you go to my earliest records, probably my first 100 records I wrote, I didn't swear. All mixed, mastered, everything. I didn't swear at all because at the time I knew a lot of families with kids and da-da-da-da, and I was trying to appeal to them. And I was like, oh, and also I love Bob Marley. And if you go through Bob Marley's catalog, you can shuffle it anywhere you go and you'll never have a problem. So I was inspired by Bob Marley and I was cognizant of the youth. Yeah. But then I realized I wasn't doing it for the youth. I was doing it for the parents. Because if the parents say, oh, it's okay to play for my kids, they can play it in the cars with their kids and that. And then I sit in the car and listen to what they're listening to. And I'm like, this shit is fucking garbage. And the stuff that they're saying is terrible. I might as well be on the record swearing all I want because that's much better than what you're putting in their ears. And then I realized that they don't actually care about what I'm doing. So why should I change my vision, how I feel, when you don't give a fuck at all about how I feel? There's no point. I'm just going to do what I feel. And that's when I started just, however I wanted to express myself in my music, I did. Yeah. All the craziest shit, all the most soft shit, all the hardest shit, everything. I'm just going to do it because it's like, no one cares anyway. Like, there's no person that will come swoop in and save the day. No one cares.
Yeah. And you're not just going to throw a curse word in a song just to add filler. It's going to be like, there's a reason.
It'll be what it is. But even if I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to make a big song where I swear and say a bunch of obscene shit. We were freestyling the other day, me, Calvin, Eddie over here, and I was just saying off the wall shit. Yeah. Because I was like, fuck it, like, you know, I had this line, it's like half the shit I say is just to get a laugh. The other half is to show you God's wrath. It's like half the shit I say is just to fucking make you laugh. Cause like, fuck it, dude. Like, it doesn't have to be that serious. The other half is like, I'm gonna show you what's real. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, even if I wanted to make a song and just say wild shit, I mean, I've done that. Like invisible spaceships, you know, like when I'm hungry, I eat a fat sandwich. Like it's just throwing off the wall shit at you to like, and then like Kaylee told me, she's like, I just like, it was a while back where she's like, oh yeah, like, or I don't know if someone told me, I think it was Kaylee, I don't know, but she said like Trey was just like showering and then she just heard him say like, when I'm hungry, that's right, Trey. Yeah. And it's like some shit, like some random fucking line that I just threw in there because I thought it was funny. It's like that's caught the ear, so it's like
that's hilarious.
But it's like it's not always, you know, it doesn't always have to be like one thing or the other, but just do it because you feel it. You know, and I think if more people embrace that, then the world would be a better place. Yeah, I can't literally stop like world hunger by just making a song. Yeah. Especially if you're just like, guys, stop world hunger. Like, shut the fuck up. No one wants to hear that shit. But you go in the studio, you do what you love, you paint a picture, you write a poem, you share it with the world, you show people what humanity is, what it looks like. You're a human being going through human being emotions in life. And that's real because we all feel it, but everybody hides it. They hide their shit out. They hide their stuff away. They forget who they are.
I think they take the being out of it.
Yeah. Just human. If that. And then you're left with a bunch of hollow people who don't care about anything because they don't have anything to care about. All they care about is their family, so they work their life away to provide for their family. And that's it. And they pass that on to the next person. The next people perpetuate everything. So, like, for me, like, and I feel like I go through this all the time. It's like, when it comes to all this stuff, like, to me, I'm so far ahead of it. And it's not even in an ego sense. It's just understanding, like, I'm not in the space where I hate other people and I have to put other people down. I'm not in the space where I want to fight you over opinions. Yeah. I'm not in that space. I'm so far beyond it. It doesn't matter to me. It's all bullshit to me. So it's like all this stuff when I watch people go through the cycles and they fight about it. And I'm sure I could find 10 people and easily have a fight about fucking anything, dude, like anything. And it's like, man, like it doesn't even fucking matter. It's so stupid to me. But the world cares so much about the shit that doesn't fucking matter. So to me, it's fucking bewildering. Yeah. Like I'm like, damn, I'm literally living in a different fucking planet than what most people are. Because most people are like, they'll spend their lives doing shit they hate. Yeah. And being miserable. It's like I'm not gonna live like that. I'd rather be dead. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because why? Why would you do that?
Yeah,
It makes no fucking sense at all. Like, if you just think about it for a second, do you want to spend your life at least trying and doing things that you enjoy? Maybe you're not super fucking successful and famous and make a shit ton of money, but you are happy. Or do you want to not be fucking rich and successful, because most people won't be anyway, and just be fucking miserable? It's so fucking simple.
Yeah.
But most people don't understand that, and they don't do anything. They're like, I'm afraid. I'm just going to do the thing that makes me unhappy because that's what everyone tells me to do. Meanwhile, I was fucking 7 years old, and I'm looking at these adults like, these guys are all miserable. Why are they all miserable? By the time I'm 10, I realized, because there's no joy in what they do. They don't believe in it. They just do it. I figured that out. Everybody else, once you figure it out, it changes the way you move. Because I'm not going to do it just because. It's like, man, it has to make sense.
Yeah.
And I'll ask the questions. You know, especially if you ask questions in a way that doesn't that isn't disrespectful. The easiest way is, I don't understand. That's the easiest way. When someone's trying to get you to do some stupid shit, you just say, I don't understand. Like, I'm not understanding what I'm supposed to be doing. And just let them reveal it all. Instead of being like, no, I don't want to do that, and fighting. I'm not going to fight. It's like, I don't get it. Because on some level, I don't understand that stupid shit. I don't understand it. So then it's just a bob and weave.
Yeah.
You know? And for me, that's like, even with the system and shit, like, when I was younger, I was more rebellious, like, fuck you, take down the system. Now I'm just like, bro, these people love the system.
Yeah.
The system is the people. Yeah. You can't take down the system. So it's like, I just don't fuck with it. I don't fuck with the system. I just do my shit. And I'm part of it. Yeah. Because we all are. But it's like, I have no intention of being like, I want to fight the system, because you always lose. Yeah. Because the people who are controlling the shit will make you lose, and they'll get everyone else to fight for them. Because at the end of the day, 85% are controlled by the 1%. The 1% use, what is it? The 9% to control the 85%. And then there's the remaining 5% who are trying to wake up the 85%, or whatever the mathematics is. So it's like, no matter you can't fight against them, because it's right now it's like 95-5. Just all you can do is give the information. And I'll give the information. If people take it, and I'll know the day that the world wants to change when I'm called upon. Because this is all I have to offer. I can't offer anything else. I don't have anything else. All I have is my wisdom, my knowledge, my life experience, the love in my heart. That's it. That's all I have. Everything else is bullshit. It can all be taken away. All I have is this. So while I'm sitting here and I work a regular job, that's technically a dead end job. Yeah. And make okay money. To live, survive, do what I love, make my music. As long as I'm in this role, I know that the world's not ready. Now, I got my master plan, and I will execute it. But that's so I know, without a doubt, every stone has been turned. Yeah. That's for me, to know that I turned every stone. And now I know with 100% certainty that it is on the people. It is on God. When I'm called upon, I'll be able to do what I do. I'll be able to hit the stages. I'll be able to travel across the world. I'll be able to do all the things I do because I'm called upon. This is all I have to offer. When people want it, they'll come get it. If I'm not on the stages, people don't want it. Because that's all I have. It's all I have to give. I have nothing else. That's all I have. My wisdom, my knowledge, my experience, my love. That's all I have. So me knowing that, because my essence is, I'm going to say reduced, even though it's a negative connotation, but it's in a positive sense. My essence is reduced to the truth of in my spirit, like me, who I am truly. Since I've been able to cut out everything around, you have your clay model. I've been able to take all the random pieces off and just see myself for exactly who I am. I have nothing else that matters to me. All that's irrelevant. I'm not caught up in this. I'm not caught up in that. I can choose to go do this, that, the other, play video games, do that, hit the vape. It doesn't matter, because I'm like, fuck it. Like, I'm not mentally caught on it. It's my choice. Yeah. If I want to move to something else, I move to something else. I do it all the time. But I'm not like, fuck, I'm not doing that. I'm over here. Free, at peace, knowing that what I have to offer is all I have to offer. That's what God gave me. That's what I'm supposed to give the people. The gift from God goes to the people. The gift from people you keep for yourself. What somebody gives you, you keep. What God gives you, you give.
Mm.
Very simple. So what I have, my wisdom, my knowledge, my experience, my love comes from God. That's to give for the people. Everything else is like, well, whatever I'm given. And I live like that.
Mm.
And so I'm free. Stuck in the traps like everybody else, but I'm
Yeah.
free. You know? Because I know who I am.
Hell yeah.
So, shit. That's my album right there. I'm going to release that. I might actually. That'd be kind of cool. But that's all I have. So in some ways, like when I come on here, I do in some ways feel like I am repeating myself. I do it differently because I'm an artist.
Yeah.
But because I think it's the core thing. It's like I really don't have much else to give. Like that's all I have. Like that's all I have. So it's like it's very simple. And so the way I feel is like any way I'm moving, if the energy of the room, people I'm around, we can connect like that, where it's the truth of people's heart and soul,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm there for whatever it is.
Yeah.
But if it's not like that, I know I don't have a place there. Like it's not a matter of like I don't have to teach anyone anything. I don't have to try to convince anyone of anything because I just don't have a place there. If it's not real and it's not true to people's heart, soul, spirit, then I know it's like I don't speak the language.
Yeah.
You know, it's like being in a place where you don't speak any of the languages, and it's like, well, I can't speak to anybody here because I don't understand what you're talking about.
Mm.
I don't understand hate. That's not my language.
Yeah.
I understand love. So if we speak that, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I understand wisdom. I don't understand foolishness. You know. So it's like all the things that like that. It's like I'm not there for it. There's no place for me. There's only a place for me when it comes to those 4 things I listed,
Mm.
and that's where I stay. So shit. Vote Trump. Vote Kamala. I don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter.
Mm.
You know, the world's going to be what the world is, and it's up to the people. If the people want war, we're all going to fight and die. Machetes and swords, arms in hand, whatever we got to do. If the people want love, we'll make love. And everybody will be fucking having a great time. Or whatever. But it's up to the people what they want. But for me, I'm ready for both. Because I'm not naive anymore.
Mm.
So whatever the case will be, I'll be there.
Yeah.
If it's a fight, I'll probably die on the battlefield in some way, shape, or form. Or I'll live long enough to see the end of it and help elevate out the rebel. If by the time the war ends, people are finally ready to change, then I can do something. But maybe we have to go through the war. That's if I live long enough and I get to see it. But this depends. You know, and if it's a thing where, you know, the world isn't ready at this time, then I will spend this lifetime having done the things I love, not waiting for the world to call upon me. If you want me and you call me, I'll be there. But if you don't, that's okay. It's not my place to tell you or anyone else. And I will spend my life doing the things I love with the people I love. And if it's my role to do this, if I touch all the stages we are the most popular band ever to exist, and that is for this lifetime for us to achieve, because that is necessary for the people's growth and development and elevation of humanity, then that's what we will be. We will be the best. We will be the greatest. We'll be revered with all the people that you revere up there, like the Beatles, Bob Marley, all those people. If it is ordained for us to do that, if the people need us now, other option is no one will listen. It'll get passed along some way, slip through the crack, hit someone's YouTube recommendation in 2015, and it'll inspire them and they'll change the world. Wherever it is in the chain, I don't know. Somewhere in the link. But what I do know is that somebody eventually will hear the messages in the music, what we're saying here, what we're doing here. And we're either the ones to change the world or we're the ones to give the knowledge to the person who will. Yeah. Or to the person who'll give it to the person to give it to the person to one day eventually. But I understand that my role is the messenger. Yeah. That's what I'm here for. To pass the message. And even to this day, I know I could die right now and I would have delivered the message. I've given it. Yeah. It's from God, beyond me. So I know that's why I feel like I'm repeating myself. Yeah. Because I've delivered it. I've done my job. I did what I came here to do. Now, everything else, I'm living in overtime. The time that I'm granted on this planet is the time that God gives me. I've done my job. I did my end of the deal. I've done what I'm supposed to do. I've completed what I'm supposed to do. Until either I die and I have a new journey, or I'm called upon to now serve in a different way. You know, to give, whether it's on the stages, people feel the energy, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Until then, I know I've done. I've completed my purpose. You know, until I'm called upon once again.
Mm.
So now I live free and happy. You know, the most stress in my life is when Keita gets mad at me for some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Or I got to balance.
Yeah.
You know, that's the most stress I have in my life.
It's a good amount. That's good.
And that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, who doesn't have, like, you know, who's married and have, like, you know, their wife or husband tugging at you one way or another. I'm like, you know. Because everyone has to figure out their own thing.
Yeah.
And get to their own.
For sure.
Nirvana. You know. But I feel like I definitely dominated the airwaves on this one.
It's all good, dude.
So
no worries, dude. Need to be heard.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
And again and again and again. And again.
Ryan's like, come back to the next one.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There'll be a next one regardless.
Yeah. That's why I fuck with it.
So I will say that recently I've been having like super like vivid dreams, or like dreams with like certain like people or certain things happening, and it's hard for me to decipher. Am I seeing future things? Is my subconscious trying to tell me something to deal with now in the present? And I've been battling, like, I don't know.
Do you remember any of the dreams that you want to share?
One of them, I was holding my baby, and it was last Monday, and I woke up and the whole house is empty. It was like a crazy paradox. I was like, 5 seconds ago, I was like, 5 seconds, like, if you count 5 seconds, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Within that 5 seconds, I go from holding my baby to waking up in a house that's like completely silent. And no one around. And I was just like... Was that today? No, last Monday. Okay. And it was such a weird paradox to be in. So I was like, I didn't know how to feel about it. I was like, I feel like that's the future, but right now we're here. And then I kind of started thinking about people who had lost kids. And I was like, I'm sure people wake up from like their dreams and their kids are gone and shit. And I was like, damn. Not that I know how it feels, but I could like empathize with those people.
Because you had it, but then it's gone.
Yeah, but I didn't have it in this life, I guess, currently, as of now. Yeah. But some people did, and then, you know, so I was like, that's what kind of, I was like, I'm not at the bottom of this, you know. There's a lot more you could fall, technically, in this category of thought. So I was like, I was appreciative of where I was, but, so yeah, shit like that, where it'd be like, so I don't know, like, I don't know why I'm having these dreams now and things. I don't know, because a couple weeks ago or months ago, I could be like, okay, I would just chop it up to being like, this is what my brain is consumed and thinking about, and this is what, so when I go to sleep, of course, you're going to dream about whatever if you're constantly thinking about one thing or another thing. But recently, I feel like I haven't been really thinking, like, I've been like, my thoughts have been more natural and more open, more free-flowing. But now I'm still dreaming about these things. So I don't know, is my subconscious trying to get me to deal with emotions that I think I've passed, but I still need to go through? Am I seeing future things to be like,
probably
the
both.
future?
One,
yeah, it's probably
to make you. Well, two things. One, I'd say like the baby thing would be like to let go of anything that relates to that in your life. To let go of it because you have this waiting for you.
Mm.
So this stuff doesn't matter. However it gets there, the B through Y, you'll find in time.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Here's the A,
mm-hmm.
where you woke up. There's the Z.
Yeah.
But it was reversed because you saw the Z first,
mm-hmm.
and you woke up to the A. But the B to Y, it's not yours.
Yeah.
You'll find it. It'll come naturally. But let go of all those things. That's the way I would interpret it. Is let go of those things that, like, you know.
Yeah.
My worst, I feel like I dream more when I feel like there's a message that's I'm being
Yeah, that's how I kind of feel too.
And that's when I dream more. And I see also, like, in my walking day, I'll see flashes of something, like just something will flash in my eye or my mind. and I see something that's like not actually in front of me, but I just see it, and then I'm back to this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, and then
there is times where I'll be walking through the day and I'll be like, oh wait, that was a fucking dream. Like there'll be like, I remember one time when I first remembered that, like when I was like, oh shit, because there'll be times where like I'll be like flying, but the way I fly would be like I'll like feel the wind where the wind is, and I would let the wind like drift me up, and then I'm like at the top, I'm at the sky, and now I'm drifting through the wind, I'm flying around, and then for whatever reason I had a realization like, I don't know, 2 months ago, and I was like 3 months ago, I was like, oh shit, that was a dream of me flying. But for whatever, like in my normal brain, like I'll be like, oh, I could do that any second, like just wait for the wind to come and then I'll be flying away. And I was like, oh shit, but then it started making me realize other shit that was dreams. And it's like, I wonder if other people put things in their, like they wake up and they think you did something to them because they dreamt it.
Yeah, I think that's like the classic meme of like the wife waking up and be like, I dreamt that you cheated on me.
Yeah.
And being mad at you.
Yeah.
I think Kita did that 2 months. It wasn't cheating, but it was like something that like I did something rude to her in her dream. And she woke up, she's like, oh, like in my dream you said this, and she's looking at me like, I'm just like, that had nothing to do with me. Like, you ain't figured that one out. Like, and she gets more mad at me because I'm dismissive about it. I'm like, all right, that's not nothing to do with me.
That wasn't me.
You had to figure that one out, champ.
Wasn't me. Shit.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So you're probably right. But it's definitely been pretty nuts.
I don't know. I have these dreams, not like reoccurring in the same where it's like it's in the sense where it's the same dream, but every so often I'll have the dream where I get framed for murder, and then I'm on the run, and then I wake up and I'm like, oh my god, thank God that was a fucking dream, because I'm like on the run.
Yeah.
Like,
usually anytime I have like a bad dream or like one of those dreams, it's like when I should be getting up, and it's like my body like waking me up, like,
yeah, that's how I take it. Like, you're like,
because that's usually when it is. It's not like I don't wake up at like 4 a.m. going like, oh my god.
yeah, it's always
Usually
11.
it's like super peaceful, or I'm like
Yeah.
flying around. But then like 11 a.m.
Yeah,
you're like, get
or
up,
one.
bro.
You just,
It's like the other week, last week, like I had a dream that like everything went wrong at work, just like everything, like dropping glasses, like I was freaking out because I couldn't handle my job. It's like woke up, I was like, bro, that didn't happen. Like that would never happen. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not the one to like.
I think that's your, because I haven't had a work dream in a while, but I think the work dreams come when you're stressing about work, and so like.
But then I did have a stressful, like, then shit happened at work. I wasn't like, oh, freaking out, but I was like, saw myself, and I like allowed myself not to be like.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was like,
to avert crisis.
yeah, I was like, don't stress out, like, don't get mad about it. Fuck it, who cares? Just that approach. Fuck it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then it helped me get to that thing, and then now last week it was busy.
Yes.
Like went from here to here, and literally since we like the first year we opened, I haven't had like 4 days in a row where I'm literally like I clock in and I'm busy till I clock out. Like there's usually a dip where I'm chilling in the back, hanging out with the kitchen, just chopping it up. But this time, nah, just literally like on Saturday, the minute I clocked in, I had a table to the minute I clocked out. It's like 12 hours. It's like
busy.
Just busy. So then I think that's why. And then Monday, so now I was like, Tuesday's my actual day of rest when I actually got to rest.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, I'd rather just wait and just do the pod tomorrow. It's not that big a deal right now. If it comes out Thursday or Wednesday or whatever. But
Yeah, as long as it comes out.
yeah. So shit, that's dreams.
Dreams.
Looking. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. As of late, I haven't had too many dreams, but I always get, like, the baby wakes me up a lot in the middle of the night, so
Yeah.
I probably don't get to like get through those
Get to that point.
levels of sleep where I get that deep in it. And it's the memory sometimes. Like sometimes I can remember dreams. Sometimes something similar to what you said. Like I'll have a dream and then like maybe even months later I'll remember the dream.
Yeah. Something
like, oh,
happened.
shit.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, and like some of the craziest, I wouldn't even consider these dreams, but some of the craziest like dream kind of experiences I had were in the year we did California. So what was that, 2020?
Mm-hmm.
We went in what, September?
August of 2020.
So I think it was April, maybe February. I wrote it down. Whatever. This is when we were at the old house, like Dad's old house, and I was in the upstairs room. And I woke up in the morning was daytime, whatever time it was. And I heard this, like, what I'll call it an angel, but it was like a female voice, very soft, soothing. Whatever you think an angel would sound like, that's what it sounded like.
Mm-hmm.
And the angel said to me, your future victory is claimed by your past image. Like, as you hear me in your ear, that's how I heard it, like soft. And I was like, holy shit. And then I wrote it down in my little book that I had next to me. And then about a month or 2 months later, I think maybe it was in May or something, I heard the same voice when I woke up. Like, I'm waking up to this voice in my ear saying, when the message reaches the boat, leave the shore. And then I wrote that one down too. And then we went and did California. And when I was like thinking how I'm going to start this, because we had the hook, we're like, okay, this is going to be a dope song. Now it's like, gotta have a verse that matches that. And I like look over in my book that I was like, where I had my written and stuff. And that was when I written it, and I saw your future victories claimed by your past image. And then when the message reached the boat, leave the shore. So obviously I modified that second line a bit. And I started my verse off with your future victories claimed by your past image. The boat leaves the shore when the message gets past limits. But that's like adding in like when the message gets passed, but then past limits, you know. So that probably is one of the craziest dream experiences I ever had, where I didn't even write that. Like no one else wrote it, but that was like an angel who wrote that and gave that to me. Interesting. And then I put that in the song.
Yeah, that's dope.
So that's why
even said, one day I'm gonna visit Boulder. Right? And then we went to Boulder like a year and a half later.
Yeah, one day we visit Colorado from Boulder, and then we did it 2 years later.
Yeah.
About a year and a half.
Yeah, nah, it's a little bit in between 1.5 and 2. It's like
1.8,
1.9, 1.75.
But this is California. So that makes that song even more special. Because obviously it's special because it's one of those songs that people who do know us and they know our music, they know that song. And they're like, that song is the one where we show them and like, oh shit, you're actually great musicians.
Yeah.
So, you know, because it's more in the pop general vicinity than it is like the like more abstract or whatever. So it's easier for people to grab onto.
Yeah.
But then it's also special because that really was like a divine song in that way, because it came from this supernatural experience.
Shout out to Warren Russell too.
Yeah, shout out to Warren Russell. Man. I wonder how he's doing. I haven't seen him in a long time.
I think he's going on tour with Luke something. Luke starts with a C. I guess he's like a country guy.
Luke Combs?
No.
Oh, okay, because that would be like massive.
Somebody who's like, I think maybe it's a B. Luke with a B.
Luke Bryan?
Luke Brochard or some shit like that. I can look it up. But they're like on tour, like the first half of Shabuzi's tour.
I don't know who that is.
It's like this black country guy.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if I can.
That's cool.
Give him a proper shout out.
Yeah.
Luke Borchelt. Guess he's a country guy too. But yeah, so he's about to go on tour with them.
Check him out.
So yeah, another tour, new artist.
Yep.
Extending his range. So yes. Shout out to you.
I wonder if he's playing like country riffs and shit. I wonder if they're coming to Atlanta.
I'll tell you.
I probably wouldn't go though. But shout out to Warren Russell. Unless he hit me up. If he hit me up, I'll go.
September 25th. In Atlanta.
Nice.
So yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Oh.
Anything else?
I don't know. I think I made an album tonight, so. Down to just go play Minecraft. Tell you, I'll give you my Minecraft updates. Building a massive mine. Obviously, Minecraft. Got to build a mine. Because I always like just go mining. Like you just go find a cave somewhere and you grab whatever. I used to strip mine more in the older versions because there was like before the caves and cliffs, it used to just be like a solid thing. There was no, like there was small pockets, but they were like tiny. But now it's like, oh, you bone meal the vines to get the glowberries. Interesting. But I want to build like a huge cave system. I'll have like the carts going and shit. Like it really feel like a real mine.
That's what I was thinking.
Like not just like
cool
not just like a where you dig like the staircase down and you mine around, but like an actual mine where it's like, oh, I can enter and they can go to this floor. And then eventually maybe when I dig it out, I can build it into like the Gringotts thing, you know what I mean? Like when enough of it has been mined out, you turn it into something else.
Yeah.
So I'm working on the mine.
Big vault system.
I want to add low key. I want to do it tonight, but I'll respect the voting system and see how everything goes. Right now the player vote, but I think if the player vote goes up, I'm gonna give the options. But I kind of just want to add the RPG one because I think it'll overall, and maybe you should so you understand because I was looking through it, so maybe you should like look at it and see what it is. Because it adds a lot of elements to the game that doesn't break the game, and it would be a long-term progression. And there's ways to reset. So like we could make it so like as like when whatever level it is, like your mining goes up or whatever, it takes a long time. Like I sat there and mined like probably 300 or 400 like diamond ore blocks, like just in putting them down in creative and then mining them just to get the levels to test it out. And that took me like I don't know an hour, or however long it took me, and then I still only got to level 30, which is the max for the ability, but then you have to level up the ability, and that takes a lot of levels. So to actually get all the way up would take a shit ton of time. And we can make it so like your character level stays until your like lineage dies, like with the rules, like if you have 5 generations and then you have to make a new character if you keep 5 generations. And we can make it like that's when you have to restart, so you can keep your progression until you have to get a new island. Another incentive to make people whatever. And then we can make a thing where it's like if you die and have to get an island, you have to send me. Like we can have book setup. We got to send a video of you doing the reset. That way, it's proof that you actually did it and not just pretended to do it. But I think that'll just add a lot of longevity to the game because then it's like, if you go down to the mine, you're mining. I'm gonna mine a huge tunnel. I want to do it before I start. Then it's like there's a not just collecting blocks, but there's a progression in that. There's a thing that I'm gaining on the other side of it. Then it's like, oh, I want to go get the farming one or the tree one up, so I'll go do that. Or it adds a level of the game, I think, that doesn't break the game but only makes it better.
True.
So I want to add that in. I'll see what the vote system says. I'll leave the vote and just see what happens for this week and whatever. I mean, I can hold off for a bit, obviously. And if we do that other one, the other one's kind of cool where you can like turn items into other items, but you only turn the item if you have the item already. Because I tried, I was like, oh, would you be able to make, like, it doesn't work for the monster spawners or end portal gates or anything like that, unfortunately. But you have to actually have the item. But you can turn some items into other items. The side that's bad is it kind of messes with the trading a bit. Because then if you're like, oh, I want to make more leather, you don't have to go trade with someone. You can just dump the leather into the thing. But the upside of that is it gives you a point system for everything. So everything has an essence value. Like the value of this item. Like this equals this, and like the easiest way, like just to make it make sense, is like netherite scraps. And it requires 4 of those and 4 gold ingots to make a netherite bar, and the total essence of those 4 scraps and 4 gold ingots equal the netherite bar, like exactly. And that's what this recipe goes into this. So the items, they have their essence value. So trades would actually in some ways be easier when you do trade because you have the essence value and you could add up so it's like it's not like, oh, what this for this. You could add up the essence value and then get a collection of items that equal that, because that worst case scenario, if you're trading me something or I'm trading you something, if you need leather, whatever, then you can trade equal essence and I can just dump the stuff that I don't really need. Even if you gave me an extra like block stack of 64 dirt just to put the value over the top, I can dump that in the thing and make something else. So True. In a way, it makes the trading better because you have actual values for everything. And from me testing it, it doesn't seem very broken. It doesn't seem like I one thing I have to test is like the hay one, because you can make hay into hay bales, but I'm pretty sure it's the same exactly. However many pieces of hay that go into it that make a hay bale, it's the same. The ratio is the same. The hay bale is worth 9 pieces of wheat, technically. So I don't think it will break the game. I think it will actually improve in some way. And that'll also be easier for right now where there's not a lot of people playing. Because then it's easier to get things done or try to. Like I have 1 ender pearl right now. I would love to be able to, because since we're on peaceful, I'd love to be able to just throw items in and make more ender pearls. And one of the perks for the traveling one, I think it's the last one, is it's like a beacon home or some shit like that. And when you activate it by like crouching twice, you have to stand in place for like 10 seconds and it will teleport you home to like wherever your spawn is, like to your bed or whatever. But it costs 5 ender pearls. So making the pearls even more valuable, but also like you can go anywhere in the cave and just be like, okay, I'm gonna teleport home. Yeah. And that's pretty dope.
True. Hell yeah.
So So I want to add that one. I think that'll make the game more fun. At least for me, because I like shit like that.
Mm.
And then there's like one where it's like the cooldown's like 2 minutes, but when you activate it, you have like 15 seconds of everything you mine. It mines in like a 3x3 or whatever. So digging out a tunnel. I mean, that's the last one. It took me like, that was mining all the ores to get there. And like the first or second one is like ore locator, so you can be somewhere and activate it, and then it'll like shoot a line towards like the closest ore. But you have to level it up to unlock diamonds, so you can't just get diamonds right away. So it's pretty cool. So sure. Minecraft update, just working on that, rebuilding the base structure again. I'm trying another time to make a city. How many times I've failed to try to make the city? I'm trying again. But I'm starting small, and I'm trying to build everything where it's not trying to be spacious, like not trying to make so that like everything has space. I'm just gonna build like kind of big, because I think it's easier and almost nicer to look at when things are just bigger.
True. So
I'm gonna have my wall, and instead of having like a small alley to walk through, it'll be relatively big. It's gonna be like a like 5 blocks line, like wide. Then I'm gonna build on the in, like the wall will be up, because the ocean is 63. I'm gonna build at 70 is the height, and that's where my base floor will be at 70. I always like building there. And I'm gonna build a farm that extends across the whole outside of the wall. So the whole outside of the wall will just be farms, and probably just wheat, honestly. And then I'll have other places for different things. And then, but I always build my farm like hole in the middle with water, and then 4 out in every direction in a grid. But they have the sprinklers from the furniture add-on, and they like pretty much bone meal your shit. So I'm gonna but you need water, so I'm gonna put an infinity pool, and then I'm gonna put slabs on top of it. Oh no, because I gotta be able to pull the water out. I wonder if you can pull it through the slab. I'll have to test it and see if it still works. But if that still works, then I'll put the sprinklers on top of that or something like that, and then I'll have it set up for whatever the length of the sprinklers is, so I can just go through and hit sprinklers if I want to just get a bunch of shit fast, but then just grow shit. I already have like a shit ton of fucking cows, so
hell yeah.
That going. But that's my little Minecraft update.
Hell yeah. Any last little summarized words, something to leave the people with?
Well, I feel like, I don't know. Just
You're gonna do a 1-sentence summary of everything you said today.
Do what you want to do. It's your life. Don't let anybody else decide for you. Period.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm Indigo Ryan the Navigator.
Jason the Guru.
Ocean Waves episode 53. Shout out to everyone who commented. Shout out to you guys for watching. Really appreciate you. If anyone gets to this point, I still haven't gotten a comment on what do you look forward to most every day.
Oh wow!
We still haven't gotten a comment of that. So,
and I want to, if we comment on that one, I also want to hear what your passions are. So in there, even if you just put painting, like just a 1-word thing, you don't have to explain it. Just curious to see what other people are really passionate about.
Hell yeah! Well, thank you for watching Ocean Waves episode 53. Ocean's on Arrival, all streaming platforms. You know where to find us. Appreciate y'all. See you next time.
Nice.